All right, welcome back. In this deep dive, we're going to tackle the single biggest challenge of the CIPLE A2 exam, the reading and writing section. It's a tough one, but we've got the strategy to conquer it.
So here's the big question, isn't it? How in the world are you supposed to handle two totally different skills, reading and writing, all packed into one intense time block that decides nearly half your grade? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
You get exactly 75 minutes. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes on the clock, and that's it. In that time, you have to get through the entire component, which is officially called Compreensão da Leitura e Produção e Interação Escritas. It's a mouthful, I know, but it's basically reading comprehension and writing all rolled into one.
Now, this is where it gets really serious. Look at how much this section weighs. That single 75-minute block is worth a whopping 45% of your total grade. Think about that for a second. It's more than listening and speaking put together, which makes this, without a doubt, the most critical part of the whole exam.
Okay, so let's break this beast down piece by piece. We're going to start with the first half, the reading test, or Compreensão da Leitura. What are they actually going to ask you to read?
The good news is you're not going to be reading some super complex piece of literature. The texts are all about real-world stuff, things you'd actually see. We're talking about public notices, bus schedules, restaurant menus, simple instructions on a box of medicine, maybe a quick postcard from a friend, and some basic news headlines. It's all very practical.
And this leads us to your first big secret weapon. Seriously, this is a game changer. Do not, I repeat, do not try to read and translate every single word. You just don't have the time. Your job is to be a detective. Skim the text, hunt for the keywords, and find the specific info the questions are asking for. It's all about efficiency.
All right, so you've made it through the reading part. But wait, you're not done. In that same 75 minutes, you immediately have to pivot to the second half of this challenge. Let's talk about the writing part, the Produção e Interação Escritas.
And this isn't just about writing one single essay. Nope. They require you to complete two very different writing tasks. First up is a really short, direct message. Then you've got a slightly longer, more structured piece of writing.
So let's look at them side by side. Task 1 is all about being brief and to the point. Think of a quick note you'd leave for someone, a text message, or a postcard. Task 2, on the other hand, needs a bit more structure. This is usually going to be an email or a short letter where you have to reply to a few specific questions from the prompt. Now, you have to pay close attention to the word count. I'm not kidding. For that short message, you are aiming for just 25 to 35 words. For the longer one, it's 60 to 80. They are super strict about this. If you go way over or under, you can lose precious points, so being precise here is absolutely crucial.
So we've got a reading section with a bunch of texts and a writing section with two separate tasks, all crammed into just 75 minutes. The number one question people ask, how do you split your time? And that brings us to the master strategy, the secret to cracking this entire component. Here it is. The recommended split is 35 minutes for reading and 40 minutes for writing. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, shouldn't I spend more time reading? It might seem a little backwards, but trust me, there's a very, very good reason for this. And here's why this strategy is so effective. The writing section is where you're most likely to make those small, silly mistakes, right? Little errors in grammar, a spelling mistake, using the wrong word. That extra 5 minutes for writing is your safety net. It's dedicated time for you to draft, reread, count your words, and polish everything up. It's all about minimizing risk. Okay, you now have the structure of the test. You know, the tasks, and you've got the time management secret. But what's the final piece of the puzzle that really brings it all together? Let's talk about your path to success. Because let's be real, knowing all of this is great, but it's only half the battle. Real confidence comes from applying this strategy, putting it into practice again and again until it just becomes second nature. So the most important thing you can do now is to practice what you've learned. You need to actually try these writing tasks, stick to the word counts, and do it against the clock. A fantastic resource for this is prep2go.study, where you can practice these exact writing prompts and get instant AI feedback on your work. It's the perfect way to put this whole strategy to the test. So, I'll leave you with this question. This part of the exam, yeah, it's tough, but it's not impossible. It's really just a game of strategy, good time management, and practice. Now that you have the blueprint, Are you ready to go out there and absolutely conquer it?